Today, we're talking about men who show up. Big Brothers and Big Sisters of San Diego County needs your help. They're in severe need of mentors to volunteer as big brothers for teens and kids looking for a strong role model. Here in San Diego, they are especially in need of Latino men to step up, and they're hoping for a goal of 1,000 new volunteers. I think they can do it. I'm Stephanie Simmons, and this is The Backstory. Joining me now is current Big Brother and Little Brother duo, Big Brother Devon and Little Brother Giovanni. He goes by Gio. All right, local duo matched up for 3 years. This is Gio's first interview, though. So do we need an icebreaker? Yeah, Gio, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
See? Boom, nailed it. It's all downhill from here. It's great to have you guys. Okay, so Devon, we're going to start with you.
Sure.
What made you sign up?
Yeah, so I had been volunteering with my church at the time and as a youth mentor. And so doing that, I really realized that I wanted to have more of a one-on-one type of impact. So I went on the church website. I found Big Brothers, Big Sisters of San Diego, signed up, and got matched up. So.
And Gio, what about you? What made you sign up?
So there was a point in my life, it was really rough. My mom found this program and she's like, hey, do you want to try this? And I said yes, because I know I needed somebody to look up to. So we matched, we met up, we talked about who or what we like about each other, the things that we have in similarities, and yeah.
So tell me more about that first initial meeting with a potential big and a potential little. Are there more people there? Is there a representative from the organization? And how long is the process? And how do you know? Is it kind of an instant connection?
Yeah, so there was somebody from the organization that was there, and then Gio was there, of course. His mom was there, and then myself. And we just kind of, hung out for a bit and just talked to each other, just kind of like what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
And just got to know each other a little bit. Told me about himself. I told him about myself, and we just found, some similarities. And I personally knew right away, I was like, you know what, I see a lot of my younger self in him, so figured we'd be a good match.
I can feel that kind of brotherly chemistry between you guys. You can
Definitely.
tell just how much you care about each other. And you've been doing this for years now. So why do you think there's a shortage of other men who there's a need for volunteering right now?
Yeah, I think just finding the time maybe. And then also I think that a lot of men probably think that you have to, be perfect to do something like this. But, it's not the case. Sometimes, you might have, whatever past or whatever you've been through could be a way to deter somebody from doing that and, help them with correcting some of the mistakes you might have made in your past. So I think people think that, maybe they have that mindset where they just need to be all, perfect across the board. And I think, we got to get past that. And there's a lot of, youth, young men out there that are looking specifically for a mentor. So we need them to step up.
So Gio, what did you want most in a big brother?
Mostly, I just wanted somebody to talk to if there was a problem, to help me solve it, or at least give me advice. What else? Somebody that could just be there for me, just whenever I'm in trouble. I need like specific life lessons, advice, and others. So.
And constancy, it sounds
Yeah.
like, right? Okay, so what is the best advice that Devon's ever given you? Do you remember?
Let's
What stuck with
see.
you the most
There's a
so
lot.
far? Because you guys are still
lot.
going.
Important life lesson. Time management, because he knows that I'm impatient, and he's like, it takes time for stuff to come to you. And once I learned that, there was things that came to me that I needed mostly, and it all took time. So yeah.
That's really good advice. And did you have a big brother when you were little?
No,
Okay.
I never had that type of mentor. So it was something that I knew that I probably needed. So that was part of my motivation to sign up and give back, was, and I know that it does make an impact. So.
And what about as far as your relationship over the years? What's the best memory?
Ooh, the best memory I think is
Basketball.
basketball.
Basketball. When you beat me in basketball, that's one of my favorites.
Oh man, I would say maybe seeing you bounce back and when you wanted to quit playing football and you got through it and you stuck through it and then you ended up having a really good season. So I think just seeing you overcome some of those difficulties you were having and just getting through it, I was really proud of that. So.
Oh, that's such a sweet memory. And even before the show started, you were talking about seeing Gio grow over
Right.
the years. Tell us about that, because you get to watch them almost like they're your own kid in
Right.
a way.
Yeah. So, I mean, literally, he's grown in height. He was shorter than me, and he just passed me up. But also his maturity, just seeing the bright young man he's become, and the confidence that he's gained, whether it was at school or with his friendships and football now. Just seeing that, I think, is something that I'm really proud of in his growth specifically.
Yeah, and you hear the structure in your answers, the structure over the years. So what is the time commitment for each week, each month, if you become a big or a little?
Yeah, so we typically hang out twice a month, for a few hours each time. So we'll find, we
Just random activities.
Yeah, we'll
activities
find
to do.
random things to do, like whether it's like you mentioned, playing basketball, going to a baseball game, or sometimes just hanging out at the mall, just walking around, something like that. We've done tons of different things, go karting.
Ooh,
K1
like
speed.
fun
K1.
stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
different things. Yeah, sometimes it's just talking. Right, we'll just hang out and talk and
Go to the
get some
beach.
things off his chest. Yeah, we've been to the beach, or sometimes we'll go and do something fun. So we
Yes.
try to balance it with a little bit of both. Right?
San Diego has so much to offer and so many free things to do, so it's not like you have to spend a ton of money in having these relationships either. I mean, there's so many beautiful hikes. I'm sure
Exactly.
a lot of bigs and littles do that, right?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And then Gio, what would you say? How has this relationship impacted you?
It's impacted me a lot. There's stuff that I can't even explain right now. There's just so much. It's impacted me in my life, the way I think about things, the way I do things, the way I figure out situations, just everything basically. So,
And what makes Devon a good big brother?
what makes him a good? I can't even start. What's it called? So, what makes him a good big is that he's someone that from the first time meeting, you could talk to him about literally anything. That's how I felt personally when I first met him, that he was somebody I could really just talk to about whatever I wanted. And just being there for me, helping me communicating. Like, if he thinks I did something wrong, I love feedback. So he'll give me feedback about stuff that he approves of or he doesn't approve of. So.
I got you.
Aw, you can't grow without feedback. Great answers. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, but after the break, we're going to have more on how you can get involved. Stay with us. Welcome back to the backstory of the Men Who Show Up campaign for the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of San Diego County. Here's a little history on the issue. Governor Newsom recently signed an executive order to support boys and men improve their mental health. He launched the California Men's Service Challenge in partnership with California Volunteers. The effort calls on 10,000 men to mentor in many different ways, including with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters California State Association. Now, also part of this push is Assembly Member David Alvarez. He currently serves with the 80th District, which includes communities in the South Bay where needs for male mentors is the greatest right now. Here's what Assembly Member Alvarez has to say about it.
Right now across South Bay and beyond, 1 in 3 boys do not have a single adult that they can turn to for help with school, with their relationships, with what's happening in their lives, or to plan for their future. That's 1 in 3 boys. And the data tells us something even more really sobering. Nearly 1 in 4 young men today reports having no close friends at all. I am a state representative from South San Diego. I grew up here, and I know what it means to see a man in the community who looks like you, who made something of themselves, and who took the time to notice you. That matters, and it matters in ways that we sometimes can't even measure. Research shows that 3 in 4 young people say they wish they had more opportunities to connect with mentors who understood their backgrounds. And we're seeing boys fall behind in so many different ways. They're not going to college, and when they do, they drop out of college at big rates. They are disconnected from work, and too many of them are turning inward to isolation, with more anxiety, and sometimes something even darker. Since 2010, suicide rates among young men have risen, we've heard 30% in the data. This is really a crisis proportion now. Researchers at RAND confirmed what many of us already know. The gap is widest from low-income communities and families that live in them, the boys in those communities. That is right here in South San Diego, some of the areas that I represent. So I'm asking you to show up. You don't need to have a degree in counseling to talk to someone. You don't need to have all the answers. This is not about perfection, it's about presence. And the men who do this will tell you they get as much out of it as they give, as they contribute when they engage in a mentorship relationship. There's a stronger sense of purpose, deeper connections that happen, not only with the young men, but with other people in general. A reason to show up that goes beyond themselves when they get involved. And that's what Men Who Show Up is all about. So we're mobilizing, as you've heard, 1,000 men across San Diego to take that first step, to volunteer, to mentor, to be present in a young person's life. And that changes everything.
Wow, impactful words from Mr. Alvarez right there. Joining me now is Big Brothers Big Sisters representative Christopher Santos, manager of partnerships and outreach, and he also has a little brother. Okay, so thank you for being here. How has this organization made a difference in people's lives?
Yeah, so oftentimes when we talk about, being a big and being a little, oftentimes we think about, just the little that's impacted, right? But one of the biggest things we see that people are always kind of blown away by is the impact that the actual big has, right? And so the big is oftentimes having this life-changing experience, right? So not just they're pouring into a youth, but a lot of times the youth is also pouring into them. And that's something, we just wanted to highlight more.
And I was doing some research on this. It's not necessarily for children who have a troubled past or a shaking upbringing or things like that. It could be for anyone, right? And I feel like there would be a need for big brothers and big sisters for only children.
Yeah, and so I would say that these are kids who have raised their hand and said that they want a mentor, right? So whatever reason that is, whatever they're walking through, they've raised their hand and said they want a mentor. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're here, right? That's why we're at Big Brothers Big Sisters. We're trying to, help those kids who said they want a mentor, they want someone impactful in their life, right? And we see now, right, the trends that are happening, mm-hmm. right? Kids are more lonely. They're, men are more likely to commit suicide than women, right? There's all these things going on, and we have youth in the community, young men, right, who are saying, hey, I'd like a mentor, and that's why we're here. We're trying to get mentors for those kids.
Yeah, so it's for anyone and everyone, and as you said, it impacts both the big brothers, the big sisters, and the littles. I love that. Now, as a parent myself, this is something that I wanted to know. Any parent who has a child who is potentially interested in this organization, they want to know these mentors are vetted. So can you explain the selection process and the vetting process and requirements to be a big?
Yeah, of course. So you need to live in San Diego County. You need to be over 18 years old, have a valid Social Security number, a valid mode of transportation, and then be stable and consistent, and that's a big one. And so we go through an interview process. We go through a background check, right? Our biggest thing is obviously making sure these kids can be safe. But really, just to be a big, you just need to be stable and consistent. You don't need to have any, special experience or be an all-star or anything. Just be stable and consistent.
But a great driving record too, because when as a parent, when you put a kid in a car with someone else, I mean, it's hard. So that's a big important thing too, right?
Yeah. And so certain things, right? If someone has a speeding ticket, it's not a closed door. But really, we just want to make sure these kids are safe, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is a big part, in the interview. And really, it's also about, finding a big and little that, are matched and good together, right? And so we want to make sure, right, that they have common interest, similar things, and, are close to each other geographically.
Very quick last question here before we have to go to break. There's a need right now for Latino men. Why?
I would say really one of the things that we're trying to do is have a little be matched with a big that they can see themselves in, right? And that they can, represent feel represented, right? And so right now we have a lot of young Latino men who have raised their hand and want to mentor, and so we're trying to give them, a big that they feel like they can look up to and kind of see themselves in.
Yeah, who they can relate to. All right,
Exactly.
Christopher, stay right there. We're going to be right back. And after the break, we're going to talk about different individual matching programs, including sports. Welcome back, everybody. Christopher joining us once again. And we have somebody else in the studio, big brother John. Your little isn't here right now, but Raul, we understand, just graduated high school?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so tell us about your partnership. You've been in this program for 7 years, you were telling me in the break?
Yeah, we've been hanging out for about 7 years now, and I think one of the biggest things I'm proud of is just to see how far he's come. You know, when we first started hanging out, he was a little bit quiet, a little reserved. It was kind of hard to get anything out of him, but over time, it's been a real pleasure to see him just really kind of come into his own. He actually starts to talk to me now. He's asking me questions. He's talking about his day, and he's actually taken many steps forward to volunteer on his own. He's joining sports teams, and it's just been a really wonderful experience for both of us.
Oh, I love hearing that. So you got him to come out of his shell and turn into a man.
Really.
7 years to be with a child is a very long time. What a wonderful experience for you. And you're also part of the sports program. So Christopher, tell us about these little niche programs that the bigs and the littles can join on both the Big Sisters and Little Sisters.
Yeah, great question. So we have a program called Sports Bigs. And so what we do is we take sports-minded bigs and littles. We put them together and we run a bunch of several free sports clinics. In addition to those clinics, we also offer them tickets to different things like the Gulls or the Padres. And also wanted to highlight, we also have a program called Operation Bigs, in which we serve military families. So youth from military families, veteran, Gold Star, and active duty. San Diego, especially being a military town, we really want to support that. And be there for our veterans.
That's especially important if dad is overseas or something and just not available to have a strong male presence in a kid's life is very important. So love that you honed in on that, especially as you said for our city. So tell us more about the resources available, because we want to inspire people to become mentors themselves, but I was trying to put myself in someone's shoes of, okay, I have all this time to spare, but maybe not a lot of money. So do people have to spend their own money with this, or do you have resources that can help?
Yeah, great question. So we have a lot of resources. So we run several different match activities that we put on for the bigs and littles. So we do things, we have a holiday event every year called Big Night on Ice, which is a big one. They go ice skating. The volunteers don't pay for that. We do a lot of Padres games. We had a volunteer appreciation night in April. We had the bigs and littles on it. So we do a lot of different events ultimately where we provide the activity, we provide the cost, and we make it really easy for matches to get together.
Oh, that's wonderful that you provide all of that for the duos. Okay, John, what was your favorite experience?
A lot of the organized activities like the ice skating thing, I think, was one of our favorite memories. Definitely the Padres games, but I think one of our favorite traditions that Raul and I created was every Thanksgiving we do pumpkin carving. And so I came up with a picture. We've been doing this every year since 2020, and I think that's probably our most favorite tradition, I think, that we've started together.
How have the pumpkins evolved over the years?
I mean, not as much as you would think. He was really good from the get-go. I think, if anything, my carving improved over the years, but he always had a really good eye.
Oh, so you make traditions with them. Okay, tell us more, Christopher, about the time commitment for people who might be interested in being a big.
Yeah, definitely. So it's 2 to 4 hours twice a month. And so what me and my little did was we'd hang out once during the week and once on a weekend. And that would, fulfill the monthly kind of outings we're hoping for.
Okay, good. All right, stay with us. We're going to take one final break, and we'll be back with final thoughts on how to get involved. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, final thoughts with Christopher here on this organization. Details on where to go for the next step, how people can sign up. For someone who is listening right now, inspired, interested in becoming a Big Brother, what can a person do today to get involved?
Yeah, awesome. So all you would need to do is go to sdbigs.org and click Be a Volunteer, and that would take you to the inquiry form. In addition to that, we're also highlighting a lot of wonderful organizations. If being a big doesn't make sense, we want men to show up regardless. We want men to step up in their community. So if you're thinking about doing something but it's not being a big, you could always go to sdbigs/showup and learn about other ways and other great organizations to volunteer with.
Okay, and once again, the goal is to get how many bigs?
1,000, and I think we could do it. We got to show up for San Diego, and we're trying to show up big, so let's do it.
And we want big sisters too as well, but the emphasis right now is getting men who show up.
Definitely.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us as well. All of this information, once again, on their website. For more, you can go and be a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters of San Diego. Their website is sdbigs.org. I'm Stephanie Simmons, and this is The Backstory.